On Iowa Live.
From the Carl Chevrolet Studios in West Des Moines, welcome to Iowa Live. I am Lou, and of course, I just wrapping up RAGBRAI recently. And with that in mind, it's time to visit with attorney Kim Baer from the Baer Law Office to talk about things involving bicycles.
Yes. Lou, I thought we'd talk about what happens if you are riding your bike and you are, hit by a car.
Okay.
So I think it's really important for people to know that car insurance will cover a bike accident if it's between a bike and a car.
Okay, so car insurance.
Yes, car insurance.
Now,
yes.
Is this the car that hit you, or is it your car insurance?
Actually, both.
Both?
Yeah, and so that's what a lot of times people don't understand is when you are looking at your own insurance policy, make sure that you have opted out or opted in for underinsured, it's UIM, and uninsured, UM, because it's so important to make sure that you have coverage. So for example, let's say that I'm riding my bike and you hit me, and maybe it's a hit and run and you leave. Okay, so I don't know who you are, I can't find you. Because it involved a car, even though I'm on my bike, my car insurance usually will cover it if I've opted in for UIM or UM coverage.
And that, again, that's important. You have to opt in for that.
You do. In Iowa, it's not mandated, so it's just something that, that you do have to opt in. It's not very expensive.
Oh, is that my next question? Yeah, okay.
Yes, it's not very expensive. And I know a lot of times it sounds like I'm selling car insurance when I come on this show, but it's just so important because people will come to me and I'll immediately say, can I see your policy? And they'll say, why? And I'll say, because you have coverage that will help you out here, or you should have coverage. And sometimes they don't.
Okay, so that's it. If a car hits a bicycle, is there any other situation where that would come into play with a car hitting you?
Yes, absolutely. So maybe if you're out walking or you're jogging. So if you're outside and you get into an accident with a car, a lot of times people think, well, okay, obviously, if you hit me and I'm out walking or jogging, you would think, okay, you're going to be liable. Let's say that you stop and you try to help me and I've got your information and it was your fault. All right, your car insurance is going to cover it, but I also can make a claim under mine. Now, when you are walking or jogging, something that's super important, if you're crossing the street, you need to cross in the crosswalk and you need to have a walk sign. Don't try to cross the street in between cars. Don't try to dart out. Don't try to beat the light, because the law says that normally pedestrians have the right of way.
Right.
So, but if a pedestrian is not in the crosswalk or they're walking against the light and they don't have a walk sign, then that's questionable. In a lot of cases, you'll be found to be negligent or liable.
Let's talk about just the act of walking or running or jogging on the side of the road. How does that come into play? You're not crossing the street, but you're on the side of the road. How does that work?
Right. So if you're running or you're walking and you're on the side of the street and the car comes over, and hits you in the area that you are, then most likely the car is going to be liable. Now, there's another situation. What if you're driving and I'm walking and for some reason I'm not paying attention and now I kind of drift over into traffic? That might be my fault. So we always have to kind of look at where it happened, how it happened. But again, the biggest thing is you need to make sure that you know that you could potentially make a claim under your own car insurance, even though you're not in your car.
Okay, now let's go back, since you mentioned that, you talked about drifting over.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the bicycle for a second.
Yes.
You're riding your bicycle and you are in the middle of the lane.
Yes.
Okay, do you need to be on the right-hand side of the lane? Is there any indication about that at all?
No, as long as if you're in the lane and you're riding your bike, it might not be the safest way to ride a bike.
Right, that's true.
But if I'm riding my bike and you come up behind me and maybe you didn't see me and you hit me, it's going to be most likely your fault. So, so that's the thing. And, but as bicyclists, when you're driving a car, when you're walking, when you're jogging, when you're riding your bike, we all need to be smart. We all need to be careful. So, and I think a lot of times there's a misconception that people think in Iowa, I'm the pedestrian, so I always have the right of way. The car has to stop. That is not the law. So you just need to remember that as a pedestrian, you also have to follow the rules of the road.
Okay, so be aware.
Be aware. Be aware of what's around you.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
if people want to ask you any other questions, they want to get in touch with you, that happens to you, unfortunately, and you need to talk to somebody, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, just give us a call, 515-INJURED or 515-279-2000. $2,000. We're always happy to have a cup of coffee. If it's an injury case, it's a contingency fee, so there's no charge to sit down and talk about it.
Okay, so great job, great advice, especially this time of year when people are trying to get in their last bike rides or trying to take advantage of that too. So
yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Lou.
All right, don't go too far. We'll be right back.